Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Michael Noland here, and tonight I wanted to create a list with you guys. Tonight I'm going to provide my top 10 candidates, and I'll explain that as we go along. But what I'm doing tonight is providing the top 10 candidates for the top 10 greatest hookups in rock and roll. All right, so to clarify, tonight's list is in no particular order. We're going to discuss that as we go along. But these are my top 10 candidates for the greatest team-ups in rock and roll. Then what I'm going to do, in a week's time, take a look at your responses in the comment section, and then I'm going to, by your votes, determine who belongs on this list and who is number one, number two, and so on. All right, so the only thing I'm asking of you guys is in the comment sections, entitle your comment "My Choice." Then give me your top 3 people on this list and up to, but not more, than the top 3 people you think should be on this list. Like I said, in a week's time, I will do the tallying and then I will make an announcement video. Now, you don't need to be a member of the tribe to vote. All votes will be counted irregardless. But in order for you to see my response video, you might want to hit that subscribe to the tribe button, then hit that top bell icon so that you can be notified of not only that response video, but all of my videos on the classic rock era, as well as videos on what's happening in the music business today. All right, so with all of that nonsense, that gives you guys a total of up to. You don't have to give me 3. If you've only got 1 or 2 votes, that's fine. But you have up to 6 votes to place on this list. Oh, and by the way, 1 vote, guys, please. If I see duplicate voting, I've got to throw that out. 1 vote, up to 6 choices. 3 from this list and 3 of your own choosing, and I'll make some sort of order out of all of this. All right, so my number 1 choice tonight would be Alice Cooper teaming up with, of all people, Donovan. Both of these artists are major artists that I have followed since the very beginning. Donovan being more of a psychedelic poet, while Alice Cooper provided us in-your-face rock and roll with a very wry sense of humor. And I gotta tell you, Donovan being on Billion Dollar Babies has got to be one of the very best cuts out of the entire classic rock era. All right, next up, how about Sting and Dire Straits? Of course, Money for Nothing. You know what? This song was a huge hit for both of these artists, wasn't it? And when you listen to it, you get that this is by the Dire Straits. There's no doubt in your mind that you're listening to the Dire Straits. But with Sting's vocals peppered into this song, you almost get a Police/Dire Straits feel to this whole cut. I would never have thought when this came out that these 2 artists would team up for anything. They seemed very different from each other in their whole approach, and yet the blend is absolutely perfect. All right, so the next one is one of the biggest team-ups in rock history, no doubt, and of course I'm talking about the Beatles teaming up with Eric Clapton on the recording of While My Guitar Gently Weeps. I've said this before on this channel, this is one of rock and roll's greatest solos, and it's not because of the proficiency of Eric Clapton necessarily on this cut. It is the emotive quality of this solo. All right, my 4th choice would be another Beatle. This time the Beatles showing up as the guest star, and that is George Harrison showing up on the recording day after day with the fabulous band, one of the best bands in classic rock as far as I'm concerned, Badfinger. Now, first of all, you gotta understand, back when I was just getting in to the Beatles, George was my favorite Beatle. He had the coolest hair, I loved his demeanor, and he had that extra special job of playing lead guitar for the band. When the Beatles broke up, and he released his magnificent magnus opus, All Things Must Pass, I was even a bigger George Harrison fan than I ever was before. Of course, I became aware of Badfinger even before George Harrison joined up with them. I was aware that Paul McCartney wrote their very first major hit. They even wisely followed Paul's suggestion on how to record it. You see, because Paul had done his own 1-hour demo, and you guys really need to listen to that demo off the anthology series because I like it even better than the Badfinger cut. But I was aware of the band, right? Already a fan, already collecting their stuff. And when this magnificent song hit the airwaves, I immediately recognized George's guitar. You know, the Badfinger sound was already magnificent, but there was always a Beatle connection. And George coming in as a guest spot on this song just absolutely blew me away. All right, next up, from my favorite heavy band of all time, Led Zeppelin, The Battle of Evermore, and Sandy Denny providing that extra touch that recording needed. First of all, without Sandy, this would have been a major, as it is today, cut out of classic rock. But with her vocals, and you know what? It was Plant, surprisingly, who thought of bringing her in. He said he felt that he needed an additional voice to truly tell this magnificent tale based on Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. This is not only one of my very favorite, in the top 10 easily, Led Zeppelin cuts, but you know, with Sandy Denny being on this recording, I couldn't help but feel like I got that same feeling that I got from the Dire Straits and Sting recording. There's a blend here, folks. This isn't just Led Zeppelin. All right, George Harrison makes the list twice, and there's a very good reason. You see, he supplied lead guitar for John Lennon's magnificent song, How Do You Sleep? Now, this song has a bit of a nefarious reputation in rock, and I've got to tell you, you got to give John Lennon kudos for his blatant honesty in this attack on Paul McCartney. And George Harrison's presence at this recording alone would have somehow sifted into this song. But he takes it one step further here, doesn't he? He actually plays the lead guitar on this song. And it is one of the most stinging guitar solos in rock, not just for George Harrison. This guitar solo attacks McCartney with equal vehemence, in my opinion. All right, that brings me to Queen teaming up with David Bowie, Under Pressure. Not only one of the most lifted songs in rock history, but on this song, we truly see a blend of styles between these two artists. And sharing those lead vocals with David, we don't get a Queen song. We don't get a David Bowie song. We get a Quoe song? I don't know. You tell me. But it is one of my favorite tracks. And locally, it didn't climb up the charts as high as I ever thought it should. I don't know how it did internationally, but I've got to tell you, this is one of my favorite Queen songs and one of my favorite David Bowie songs. All right, so now if you've got Eric Clapton on this list, playing with the Beatles, you've got to have Billy Preston, right? You know, the more I think about it, since it was George Harrison who invited Eric Clapton in and then invited Billy Preston in under similar circumstances, I feel he needs to be on this list. His work on the Let It Be album, especially when you get rid of some of the orchestrations and things like that, he becomes the orchestration at times on that album. All right, if you've got Sandy Denny with Led Zeppelin, you have to have Claire Torrey with Pink Floyd. After all, she did the same for Pink Floyd in Great Gig of the Sky that Sandy Denny did for Led Zeppelin earlier. And you know, both of these cuts belong in the top 20 of the greatest cuts in rock and roll history. I could not leave Torrey off this list. All right, last but not least, boy, you know, I was saving this one for last. I'm going to choose the magnificent Kate Bush teaming up with Peter Gabriel on the wonderful song, Don't Give Up. You know, I was going through tough times when this song first came out, and this song hit me like a ton of bricks. I didn't think it was possible to find a partner in life that when you were faced with the most dastardly of times, this individual would not only tell you to not give up, but that we are proud of your attempts despite any failures on your part. This is one of the greatest songs in rock and roll. I love this song. All right, guys, those are my 10 nominations. I can't wait to hear your 3 votes on these 10, as well as your additional 3 votes on somebody I didn't cover. I know there are fantastic team-ups not mentioned on this list, and that's why I wanted you guys to vote on it. All right, so I'm going to be reading the comments for the next week, and I'm going to be tallying things up, and I'll then make an announcement video, not only the winners, but their order will be placed based on how many votes they get. But not only that, they will also be placed in order based on your votes, guys. So get your votes out. And of course, you can comment on anything. As always, that's what this channel is all about. You know, this channel has grown tremendously in such a short time. This time, last year, this channel had 400 subscribers. We have just reached 23,500 subscribers, and I just want to say thank you. But, you know, I can't just thank you guys. I have to thank Wayne from Soul Train Bro. You know, it was a little later in the year, this time last year, probably around March, where Wayne did a couple of shout outs for this channel. Now, I know it was later in the year because by the time he gave his shout out, the channel had grown from 400 to about 700 plus subscribers. But with his shout out, the channel started experiencing major growth. And you know what? Wayne didn't need to do that. His channel was 20 to 30 times larger than my channel. I was a nobody. But he saw some validity in what I was doing, and so a big thank you, brother. I appreciate it. You know, it's channels like Wayne that has really supported this channel, and I do want to give a big thank you. Early supporters include, of course, Royce in the House, The R&B Show, Tudor Smith. Tudor's got a great series out now doing complete biographies of the Beatles. He's done John and Ringo so far. Sorry, brother, I haven't been over there to finish the video, and I don't usually leave comments before I finished it, but I have seen it. You're doing a great job over there. Of course, there are other channels out there that have supported this channel. Rachel's Ghost, she's always giving recommendations, and she does a daily stream, folks. I want to thank you, Rachel. I appreciate all that you've done. And I've discovered channels, there's not enough room on these videos to thank everybody, but another great channel that's making a lot of headway, David over at Safe and Sound Texas Audio Excursions. Check him out. Like Wayne over at Soul Train Bro, this man has a great set of ears. I love it when people know what to listen to and then share that knowledge with viewers. And last but not least, I'd be totally remiss if I didn't mention Larry, the Canadian Stud Muffin. You know, this guy has been on YouTube longer than YouTube ever existed. I think when they were developing YouTube, they were just waiting for Larry to come up with enough videos so they could launch the damn program. This man covers music, but he covers a whole lot more. He's kind of like Royce in that way. And if you love a bit of a perverse, shall I say, sense of humor, you're gonna love Canadian Stud Muffin. I mean, take a look at the name of the channel. You know some stuff is up. All right, I hope you enjoyed tonight's video. If you did, please consider giving it a thumbs up. That helps the YouTube, whatchamacallit, do its job better. It helps the channel grow. It helps the tribe grow, folks. And of course, if you haven't had a chance to subscribe to the channel as of yet, I always say this, but you know what? It is kind of freaking easy. All you have to do is hit the damn subscribe to the tribe button and then tap that top bell icon, and you'll be notified of all my future videos. All right, that's the video for tonight. I'm Michael Nolan. This is always the bottom line. We are the tribe, and I'll see you in my next video.